Okay, it's 8:15. I'd like to call the Whatcom County PUD Commission meeting to order. Today we have a really short meeting, but let's start with the pledge. Go ahead, Jamie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jamie. So let's see, let me pull up my notes here. Okay, so the first thing is, of course, to approve the agenda. What's on our agenda is it's a very short agenda. We're just going to approve the claims, have a quick item of new business, and then adjourn. So any changes or corrections to the agenda?
Looks good to me. I move we approve the agenda.
And I second.
And there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So next time is the claims for June 27th.
So I have a couple of questions that have come up that I can clarify. There was a question about the PERMS charge, which is about $3,500, and it talked about public officials. And what that is the insurance premium for the 3 commissioners. So this is the liability protection that you're offered as part of your office. So if there's any other questions about that, I can ask Annette to answer them, but that's basically what it's for. The second item that came up was a $500 charge that goes to an organization it's the Broadband Coalition that's centered on the libraries. We joined that a couple of years ago, and part of it is to get access to the libraries, and we've used it very extensively. When you look at our grant application for the digital equity part of it, that's where a lot of that information came from, and it allows us to work directly with the libraries as part of that coalition in the county. So an explanation was asked for those 2 charges. I hope that's sufficient.
Any further discussion?
Thanks for that explanation. I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Let's move on to new business.
So this is a new award for a bid for Station D, and it's a valve replacement and some other work. And I'd like to call on Kurt Wank to talk a little bit about it, and then we'll be looking for your approval. Kurt?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, commissioners. Here to request your approval for the award of bid to P&P Excavating for our D-Station line stop and valve replacement. D-Station is out at the west end of Aldergrove Road. That is where we have our single point of connection for the BP refinery. What we're trying to achieve is an upgrade of the whole D-Station. We want to do some upgrades and create some redundant lines so we don't have just a single point of connection for BP. But right now, what we've ran into is we have a main ball valve that is what right now is a connection for modulating flow and potentially turning off flow for any reasons. But upon testing it in the last couple of months, we found that we cannot turn it off 100%. And so without being able to turn that off 100%, we cannot make any of the upgrade changes to the D-Station. So we've had to pivot a little bit, and what we're trying to do now is install what's called a line stop. So we will put that in the existing transmission line, and then with that line stop, we can turn off the water and replace the main ball valve. That is the gist of what we're trying to achieve right now. So our apparent low bidder is P&P Excavating. Is for $129,610 without tax. And with that ball valve replacement, then we would be able to perform the D-Station upgrade. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I'd like to understand what a line stop is.
A line stop is a way to basically put something into the line to turn it off. It's kind of it's essentially it's a valve, but we cut into, well, not we would, the contractor cuts into the flowing water line, and there's some, I've never done it myself, but you put a clamp around the pipe, and there is a connection on there, and you can insert the device into the flow of the water, and then it basically balloons out and shuts off the water. And that is a way for us to shut the water off temporarily. This is not, the idea isn't, this isn't a way to install a valve into a line. You put it into the line, you can turn off the water. It's a short-term thing, and then we replace the line, and then the line stop device can be removed out of the transmission line.
Interesting. So it's like creating an arterial blockage on purpose.
Yes, that's one way to describe it, yes.
I have a question that maybe you don't have an answer for. I just noticed that there were 2 bids, and the second bid was almost twice as much. Like, what, any accounting for that? Like, why one bid is half as much as the other?
We actually, both of those companies they didn't just drop off a bid, they stopped in and they were present for the bid opening. And after the bid opening occurred, we had some discussion, and the Stremler gravel one, which was significantly higher, they kind of increased their scope on their own, where we're looking to replace this single ball valve. I say single, it is one device, but it's very, very large. And Stremler gravel kind of decided, well, what if we change this other adjacent part of the line as well? They kind of overestimated the scope of work that would be done.
I
And
see.
so that's why their number was higher.
I see. Thank you.
Any further questions?
None from me. I'll make a motion if we're ready to.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to award the D Station line stop and valve replacement project contract to PNP Excavating in the amount not to exceed $129,610, and authorize the general manager to execute the agreement.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, go ahead, John.
Just before you wrap up, Commissioner, you don't have a public comment period on your agenda today. It was intentional. It's not required by law that you provide it. You did it to shorten the meeting, given the vacations. You have someone who's raised their hand, so you can either, Sherry can call on somebody with the consent of the other commissioners to have a brief public comment session and effectively amend the agenda. More formally or properly might be to have a motion to amend to add a public comment period if they are so inclined. I just didn't want to ignore Mr. Kaufman's hand that was raised.
Thank you for catching that, John.
That was Ann Grimm who caught it.
Thank you for catching it. Yeah, let's not miss that opportunity for getting public comment. We're always looking for public comment. So
he took his hand down.
Mike, if you still want to speak, please put your hand up.
His hand is up.
For the
Okay.
record, I think we have the consent of the other commissioners for a brief public comment session.
Sure, Mike, go ahead.
Yes, hello. Thank you, commissioners. Mike Kaufman here. But before I start, I'll lower my hand. Will you be having a public meeting in 2 weeks at the PUD? Then I would lower my hand and I will come to that meeting and speak, which I would prefer to do.
Sure, and let me just make sure we get the date right. Our next public meeting is will be July Feel free, someone to speak up.
July
here.
11th.
July 11th. July
Yes.
11th.
Thank you.
So I will be attending that meeting for all of your information by Zoom, not in person. I'll be returning from my niece's wedding, but I will be attending that meeting via Zoom.
Commissioner, it looks like nobody else has their hand up and nobody on the panelists, so I think we could conclude.
Yeah, I think so. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Well, I just wanted to wish everybody on this meeting a happy 4th of July and safe 4th of July. And looks like we have some spectacular weather. And Chris, is Frazzleites under control still?
Not
think-
much of a concern right now.
Okay, great. Great. So it sounds like we can all relax and have a good holiday week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye, everybody.